Well, now these little karts are coming out. I know they hold a pretty special place in your heart, and most drivers' heart, because this is where a lot of the top Grand Prix drivers commence their careers.
Yes, Daz, but these are superkarts. They're not sprint karts, and really, at the end of the day, I'm a bit confused about this particular category of racing, because they're neither your elbow or your backside, quite frankly. They're neither a go-kart nor a fully-fledged open-wheeler. They do present fantastic throttle control. They have very good power-to-weight ratio. They've got a gearbox, they've got aerodynamics, and I suppose it is probably the cheapest form of motorsport that you will get aerodynamics and gearboxes and so forth.
Exactly. Big field, as you can see, strung right down the grid. And as you can see, we'll run through the grid for you because there's a lot of competitors here, and this grid was decided on a race that was held yesterday, and therefore a number of the superstars didn't actually finish that race, and they're well down. But this could make it very, very exciting because the really good drivers are way down the back of the grid, and they're going to have to thread their way right through all these drivers.
Well, that won't be any easy task in these conditions, I can tell you, because there'll be a little bit of spray, obviously not as much as the Formula One cars, but nevertheless, still spray. They're very, very slippery. Their power-to-weight ratio is probably up there amongst the Formula One type of power-to-weight ratio. Les May, who has been a front-runner in this category of racing now for many, many years, he's down the back, and his progress will certainly be worthwhile watching.
Yeah, well, Les May, his kart number is number 20, so we'll keep our eye out for number 20 because he will storm through this field regardless of the conditions. Another very interesting competitor here, of course, is Barbara Hepworth. Now, she carries a number 1 plate, and Alan, she was the lady that really hit the wall big time, I think a season or so ago now, a race or two back, and it actually burst into flames and impact.
Yeah, and then she came back last year and won it, so she's had the ups and downs of this is for sure.
There she is actually, as we speak, kart number 1, Barbara Hepworth, again, well down the field, so it's really going to be exciting stuff. Another one to keep your eye out for was Stebbing, because he was very, very quick in qualifying, but then didn't do so well in the race, had a mechanical problem. So as I said, they'll grid up on their race positions from yesterday.
All things being equal, I would expect Ralph Ruprecht to take an early lead, and I can only hope, just for our point of view, not for his of course, that he doesn't romp off into the distance and gives those quicker guys a chance to come through and have a go. But you can see he's wearing the helmet of the colours of Michele Alboreto. He was his ex-mechanic, and he now resides in Australia, and that's why he's wearing the colour helmets of Alboreto.
And of course, Alboreto took those colours from another very famous race driver too, Ronnie Peterson.
That's correct, yeah, good colour scheme.
As a mark of respect to Ronnie Peterson, he decided to wear his colours, obviously thought a lot of him as a driver. And you can see now, really, it's pretty hard to get heat to the tyres on a day like this. But they're going to have the same problem that the open wheelers have, or any race car is going to have today, and that's spray, and that's going to hold the good guys back. As we said, they've really got to come through the spray as well as the traffic.
Oh, too right. And you know, you can still generate a little bit of heat through the tyres, because obviously they're wearing treaded tyres as opposed to slicks, and by going backwards and forwards like that, you're not only doing the tread, but you're also stretching the walls of the tyres, and that generates heat through the tyres, so it's probably better than nothing, I would think.
Well, AJ, the track hasn't had a chance to dry. We started to get a dry line during the Formula One qualifying, but that, of course, now is gone because the rain is very, very consistent. So it's really every man and woman for themselves on here.
Yeah, I think, my own personal opinion of this, I think these things are quite dangerous at this particular circuit, because it's not too far removed from racing a bike around here. I mean, they've got pretty big, thick concrete walls. There's no rollover bars, no safety belt, so if the guy does make a mistake, he's head first into a brick wall and basically sitting on the thing and not in it.
Well, actually, in racing the other day, one of the karts went upside down going through the chicane, and the driver was very, very lucky because the kart actually bounced 2 or 3 times. He was still in it, and he survived okay, a little bit of back damage, but it really did emphasise how dangerous they can be.
Well, what is curves for us becomes ramps for them. I mean, when you're going through there in a larger car, they are a curve. In a smaller car like this, they can be quite a substantial ramp that can launch the thing.
Now, the yellow plates are the twin-cylinder international class, so the yellow numbers, you see the white plates are the single-cylinder, they're the national class. So 2 variations of these karts. All right, almost set now for a start, waiting for the lights to turn green. This should be something else, let me tell you. There's cart number 1. You can see Barbara Hepworth. She's not that far back. She should be able to make a good run from there. Away they go. Very smart off the first line, and Barbara Hepworth hasn't gone anywhere. Still stalled. Come back to the action, though. What bad luck. Now she's started to move.
Ripper start from Brian Stockman. He just had the right amount of revs on, came right between the two guys in the front row of the grid, and has now grabbed the lead. So a good start from him.
As you can see, that spray really getting generated up into the air now. The carts trying to fight their way through the mist, really having some trouble. Peter Woodgate there in cart number 3. As he comes through, trailing him, number 20, as we said, Les May. Well, that's 29 in behind him.
Oh, there you
one
go.
gone
That's
already.
Prix, I think.
That's okay. I'm looking for Les May because he really is sensational, and I tell you what, get out of there.
Yeah, I think that was Ralph Ruprecht that had the spin, so my prediction of him perhaps, or worrying about him storming off into the distance, we don't have to worry about that.
Wow, that was pretty hairy stuff, wasn't it, trying to get around there? Imagine belting round the corner and there's one sideways. A few more grey hairs. Looking for cart number 20, Les May, because sensational driver in one of these and really has a big go. But look at them storming all over, like a swarm of bees all over the track.
Yeah, and as you said before, Darryl, see the spray, it's still relevant. Even though they've got much smaller wheels and tyres, they're still kicking up sufficient spray to make it very difficult for the guy behind. Now you can see someone to the far left-hand side of our screen. He's doing the right thing. He's getting right over there and he's putting himself into clean air and keeping out of that spray. And he's also in the right position for the braking area because he's down the inside.
That's John Policio. Policio is coming up, and Brian Stockman's still doing a pretty good job in cart number 43. Now Siebert, cart number 2, has gone from 8th to 19th. So quite amazing, from 19th up to 8th place. That's a cart number 2, Siebert, one of the very, very good drivers in this field as well.
But I tell you what, look at Brian Stockman. He's really putting this together. He's got a substantial lead at the end of the first lap. Now May's up to 10th, so that's a good effort from him from the back of the grid.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a shot. Les May up to 10th place. Remember, started almost at the rear of the grid and has done some amazing stuff on this circuit before. So only 4 laps to go. I think he might run out of some laps today. Peter Woodgate on cart number 3 there coming through. Nice little line. Through they come through the chicane.
There's May. Oh, yeah, there he is there, I think, number 10.
Still storming through. Oh, under the ripple strip. As you say, they become like a launching pad, don't they? Peter Woodgate now still leading. Cart 29 is Jason Maros. Cart 29, Jason Maros doing a nice job there. There's 43 for you. Obviously, Stockman in the box seat at the moment.
Jason Maros putting a little bit of pressure on Peter Woodgate there, and on these sort of conditions you really can't afford to slip out any too wide on the exit of the corner, because if the guy behind goes on the power that little bit better, gets a little bit more traction, bang, he'll be all over you.
Yeah, Gerard Siebert in number 2 is doing very well. He's up into 5th place. He came from 19th, cart number 2, really storming through. I don't know if he's going to have enough laps, but he's certainly coming through. May is now up to 8th too. There's Siebert there, cart number 2, coming up into this bunch now. What a terrific drive. He went from 19th, worked his way to 8th, and look at him now up into 5th place and starting to challenge this group. Gerard Siebert, there he is, cart number 2, 51 in front of him.
Well, Siebert, of course, is in the Twin Cylinder International. He's sponsored by Gerard Industries in Clipsal. He's got a VD8 zip card. He comes from South Australia. He's 35 years old, and he's using a Rotax engine, which are a good engine because I know my son uses one.
Woodgate, cart number 3. This is Siebert now throwing out a bit of a challenge. Look at him rush up there under brakes. Fantastic. 51 in front of him is Russell Field. Here's the leading bunch coming up the straight, so he's actually got into contact with him. Whether he can catch him past from there should be exciting.
Well, there you go. Look at this. This is good stuff. Siebert, of course, is the current Australian champion, so at the moment he's looking really good.
Yeah, well, you can see the experience coming through even on this wet track. Didn't manage to finish the race the other day. That's why he got the 4 start. Look at this, all over the back he is of Russell Field now. And Field gets a little bit sideways coming out of there. Siebert's got all this spray. He's got to try and find a way round on this circuit. Pretty difficult job, and running out of laps gets a bit sideways. You see, then now tucks himself up on the inside. Look at this terrific stuff. There he goes out wide. Can he get past Phil? I think so.
Yes, he's
done it. So he's got another one up. Coming onto the straight, we'll see how much horsepower he's got. 29 is Jason Maroff. He's put in a pretty good drive too, but look at this, Siebert all over the back of him now, letting him know he's there.
Yeah, he's sizing him up. If he gets onto this right hand a little bit quicker, gets the power down. He went through there a little bit quicker, now he's well placed. There we go.
Jumps out now from behind, Siebert. Terrific sight, the big number 2. Down he comes and picks up another place. There the leaders up in front of him. 43 still doing a really good job as Brian Stockman. Peter Woodgate is there too. Siebert here. This is where all the action is now. If he can catch him. Leaning back, lets it go sideways. He's driving well, isn't he?
He is, he's giving it the welly. He's getting on the power nice and early. He's really getting... You can see now he's got Woodgate in his sights.
Unbelievable drive from 18th place and now challenging for a podium finish. Down he comes. He'll be onto the main straight. Comes up under brakes there pretty well, picks up plenty of ground. Now he belts it down. This is what it's like on board. This is Barbara Hepworth.
See, there was a yellow flag there, Daz. I'm not quite sure what all that was about. We may see something down here a bit further on. No.
Barbara Hepworth is cart number 1. You're riding with her now. Give you an idea how low they are to the ground. I mean, it's an enormous buzz driving one of these.
It is, because you really feel like you're doing about 3 times quicker than what you are, because the lower your body is to the ground, the more it accentuates the speed feeling. And the bumps.
Very professional race lady, this one. I mean, she's just so dedicated to, of course, travels overseas to race. Just lives for it, really. Barbara Hepworth. You can see the water splashing up, but we're back with cart number 43, which is Brian Stockman. And look where Siebert is now, right up behind Peter Woodgate. Siebert and 2. Can he get Woodgate?
He may line him up through the next left-hander. If he stays close enough to him now, if he can get through the next right-hander just a little bit quicker, he'll take advantage of the toe down the straight.
This is the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Remember, Siebert come from 19th. There's the leader, 43. Up in front with just Stockman. Siebert has a look. He's going to run out of laps if he can't make his move soon.
Well, he's on the wrong side. I doubt whether he'll go around the outside. He should have been on the other side, but he's having a look. Oh, he's done it.
What a great drive. What a great drive.
He's also on the inside.
He's almost going to take the lead. No, into 2nd place now. Oh, terrific run here. No doubt about it. Brian Stockman now. Siebert's got him in his sights. What a drive from Siebert. Oh, sideways there. Cart number 7 has a little spinneroony off the track there. Eric Hayes it was.
Well, Brian Stockman driving the 43 car. He's 47 years of age, Daz, so there's hope for you to get into this yet. He's got the Yamaha engine, and of course he's a twin-cylinder international as well.
I don't need any more grey hair, thanks very much. So Brian Stockman now, this is the last lap. Siebert looks like he's only really waiting to get him, but, well, Stockman's cart's been pretty quick. Here's the difference, 1 and 2. Look at this. Siebert trying to line him up, but Stockman's got him covered. Now he has a go. Again, Stockman comes across.
Well, he's on the outside again for the right-hander, which means he may come up. No, now what he's going to do, he put the overpassing manoeuvre down the outside last time, but he's not going to do it this time, I don't think.
So it's still Stockman from Siebert. Stockman gets a little sideways now, really trying hard. And look at Siebert, comes up on the inside again, just pokes it there, gets right behind him. Watch him pop out. Here he goes. Can't quite do it though. Stockman, thank you very much. Get past me if you can.
I tell you what, he's not too fussed where he passes them. He'll take them where he can get them. On the outside, inside. What he wants to do now, though, he really wants to get as close, not try and pass him here, but he wants to stay as close as he possibly can, get through this next right-hander, even use this back marker if he can, and get a toe down the straight. Now, they're onto the straight now. This is the time to get that toe and pull out. Now, he's gone for the outside, which really amazes me because he's obviously got plenty of horsepower. Look at that, look.
Oh, no trouble at all. Ashley Dunn was the one they blasted past on cart 71, but Siebert just comes up now. Stockman hasn't given up yet, though. He's put it on the right or inside line, the correct line to come round here, but Siebert's just got too much horsepower now. Once he's got past, he's opened up a gap already.
Oh, yes, he's all over now.
Fantastic drive from 19th place on the grid to take the lead on the last lap.
Hey, boy,
It's got time to have
don't
a
count
wave.
your chickens. Hey, I said before it's all over now, and then I nearly corrected myself and said, but in motorsport it's not over until you've crossed the finish line. And I tell you what, waving like that before you cross the finishing line is being not only cheeky, but I don't know, it's leaving yourself open.
Have a look at just laying back nice and relaxed, and looks doesn't. Great driving position. Down he comes to take the checkered flag. So Siebert it is. Gerard Siebert takes the win for Brian Stockman, and in third place it's kart number 3, Peter Woodgate. Well, it turned out to be a pretty good race for Siebert. What an effort from 19th on the grid.
Yeah, well, I mean, these conditions, you know, it is good, because if it was dry, he may not have been able to do that. But in these conditions, talking about conditions, have a look at this. It really does let car control, or in this stage, kart control, come to the fore.
Barbara Hepworth still out racing, of course, and you get a terrific idea from these shots just how it is. We'll leave Barbara Hepworth here as she blasts away down the straight. Stay with us, Australia. The Group A's this afternoon. Plenty of action coming your way from the streets of Adelaide.